Hi, this is about taking the alternator off of a 2009 Toyota Sienna. First of all, I'd like to tell you, you need to jack it up and pull the side cover off over here. Go up in there, jack it up, pull that side cover off, and get a drill bit that will fit in a slot that is back here. There is a slot. Once you pull this pulley over to the left to release the belt, you're going to slide a drill bit in a hole that's going to hold it back over to the left so you won't have any problems. So after you do that, you slide the belt off, and then you're going to take the bolt out of the alternator. And the bolt that comes out of the alternator is right down here. Let me zoom in on it. Okay? That's it. I'm focusing in on it now. Okay? I'm a professional photographer, so I'm going to do the best I can. Now, I could have brought some professional lights out here, but it's just time consuming. I got all types of lights and everything. Got every tool you can name, snap-on, DeWalt, everything. That's the bolt you take out first. Now you're going to need to come from this side. This rag right here is stopping the radiator fluid from coming out right here. This rag. Don't take the thermostat housing off. You don't need to take this off. Let me tell you, the whole gist of this is to take the bolt off down here. Take the bolt off down here. And after you got that bolt, you're going to use an extension to get to that bolt. You're going to use 6 inches plus 3 inches. And you're going to have a swivel socket to get to this, okay? You're going to have swivel sockets, okay? After you've done that, you're going to take the bolt off up here. Then after you've done that, you're going to take this hose off and push this hose. See, all the fluid has already come out. I have a pan underneath here that caught the fluid. The pan is underneath. You see it, right? You catch the fluid underneath. You got the belt off, and you take both of these bolts out, and you unclip this right here. That's the AC. And there's the plug that plugs in right there. You're going to take the dipstick loose, okay? You got to take the dipstick loose. Okay, there is, right up here, I'm zooming in on it. This is the bolt you're going to come in on next. You're going to need an extension. My extension came all the way up to here. I had 2 extensions to get there. And to get that nut, I used painter's tape around inside of my 14mm socket to hold on to it, and a magnetic tool to hold it while I was doing it. Now, I put some cloth down here. I put a white cloth. Let me get the light right. Okay, down here, I'm going to zoom in on it. I put white cloth down here. The white cloth I spread it on both sides of this area so that if the nut fell, it would fall on a white cloth and I could catch it with my magnetic tool. So after that, there is going to be a bracket that is attached. There's a bracket that's attached, okay? And this bracket has this cord right here, okay? This cord right here, let me get the light on it. See that cord? I'm going to zoom in on it. See, this is attached to that bracket that's attached to the alternator. Okay, you're going to pop this out with needle nose pliers. Okay, let me pull back. And the bracket, you're going to have to take the bracket off of the alternator and the bracket is on the left side. So you're going to take the heat shield off to get to this. Okay, so take the heat shield off before you get to those 2 bolts down there. Okay, so after you got that, the alternator is going to come out, but you want to take this harness and move it over, give you some room. So you can just disconnect it right here. You see where I'm going to zoom in on it. You're going to disconnect the harness, and this is what you disconnect. And they say you have to disconnect that, but as you can see, I didn't need to do it. I disconnected it, and then I plugged it back up because I didn't need it. So the room, what you need is to slide it over here to the left. You're going to disconnect. They told me to disconnect this, and it wasn't necessary. They said to disconnect this in other videos, but that wasn't necessary, but I did it anyway. But what I had to do was disconnect this air conditioning bracket from right here. Right there, okay? So you put your nut back on there, but push this over to the side. You can lift it up, slide it over to the side, and I'll show you how you hold it in there. You hold it in there by sliding it down in this slot right here. And let me zoom back so you can see it, okay? So you're going to slide that alternator out. Let me get this light off so you can see a little better. And then I can hand hold the light. You're going to slide the alternator out right through here. And it's going to come to the left. And this is, okay, hold it 1 second. Put the light back on. 1 second. It's better to be hands-free. You're going to have to disconnect this hose right here and slide this clamp down off of this hose. There's a clamp that right down here that I slid down. I took the alternator and flipped it head up. The pulley was up. I slid it over here and it was tight, and I wiggled it and turned it and it popped right up. So you got to play with it. And this is the little thing. You got to unsnap this. The hose right there so that you can bend this just a little bit. This is the AC hose. You're going to bend that just a little bit. And the Toyota alternator is going to come right out. But you got to be careful. You don't want to hurt this hose. This is how everybody on the videos is taking this out without taking this apart. You don't have to take this apart, okay? You don't have to take these nuts out like they're telling you. There's no reason for you to take these nuts. I took them out, and then I looked over here, and I said, you'd have to dismantle this whole thing in order to shift this. So don't listen to anybody that's saying you have to disconnect this or take the hoses off and all this stuff. You don't have to take any of this apart, okay? All you're going to do is disconnect the hose right here and push it all the way down. Disconnect this bracket and slide it over to the left. And you're going to take the serpentine belt off, and you're going to put the serpentine, you're going to bend the pulley on the serpentine belt and slide a drill bit into the side of the block of the engine. So look up how you can set the pulley so that the tension is off of it. All you need is a drill bit, and it's a little hole down there where you slide the drill bit in, and it locks the pulley in place. And once you release the tension on the pulley, you pull the drill bit out, and then it'll tighten up. So it's really an easy job, but it's time consuming. It's not difficult. But what nobody is telling you is that they're pushing it through here up against this this AC hose. That's what they're not telling you. And nobody wants you to know that they're pushing it up against this pipe right here, this AC pipe. And I don't know why they won't tell you that, but that's how everybody's sliding it out, and that's how they're doing it. And that's the way I got it. I pulled it off the bracket right here, and then flipped it up, and turned it, and slid it over to the side. Now, this was in the way, and I had to push it a little bit. But you see where I took that bracket apart right here? I took the top part of the bracket. Let me let you see. See, I release this. See how I did it? See, right here, I gave myself some room by taking this part off so I can push this back a little bit. You don't want to play with that hose too much, right? That's AC. So this is where you take it out. You take it out and slide it right up. That's it. It's easy. You got to get the heat shield off. The dipstick are loose. See, this is the dipstick. See how I took it apart? See, it's wiggling over here. Okay, it's nothing to it. Easy job, just time consuming, okay? You take care, and if you got any questions, feel free to inquire and I'll answer you quickly. Take care.